Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Cal.
And we are back from our little break, and we're going to talk some Overwatch League, because I don't think really anything happened in the last couple weeks.
No, not really much.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're gonna give you a little roadmap of what's going to go on in the next week or so before BlizzCon. Obviously, I've been on vacation for a couple weeks. I was in Italy, had a great time. Tried to catch up on some news. It was weird. I was in a different time zone and all that stuff, but I'm back, ready. Kel's ready. We're going to start talking some moves, teams, all that kind of stuff coming up here. We have a lot to process right now.
Yeah.
But
so today is just going to be an overview of all the moves, coaching and player wise, all of the movement that has happened to this point on Wednesday. So
yes, it's Wednesday, October 23rd.
Yes.
So something will happen in the middle of recording this, because that's what happens.
Yeah. Probably as soon as we finish recording, or as we're editing, there will be some big move.
Yeah.
Like Carpe goes to NYXL or something like that.
Yeah, something's gonna happen.
Or London or some craziness.
So alright. So basically, right after I took off right after the season. And I was posting stuff on the internet. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys saw some of the pictures and stuff and all the other crap I was doing.
Yeah, you left like 2 days after the grand finals.
And the moves literally started
like the next day. Yeah.
So, I mean, we had,
on your drive to New Jersey to get to the airport, it was like, boom, 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 boom. Like, here's like, oh, the Defiant just dropped half the roster. Like,
yeah, I know. I was in the airport and I'm like, holy fucking hell.
Right.
Like, a lot of guys got dropped, a couple guys got dropped and picked up really fast, which I think were just, like, moves that, like, kind of like a transaction, but not.
Right.
They released them from one team, and then they got picked up literally 10 minutes later from another team. Sort of a trade, but not really.
Right.
But, yeah. So, there's a lot to unpack here. So, we're going to start with... All
right, so we're going to start with coaches first.
We're going to hit the big ones. We're not going to talk about, like, analysts and...
Yeah, and their assistant coaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because there are some big head coaching changes that have happened. The big one, like the first big one that happened, we kind of discussed a little bit, was the Mayhem letting go of Mineral and Matt Cavon. He was their general manager.
Well, Mineral was let go in early in the season.
Yeah, I think we talked about this pretty briefly.
Yeah, he got let go in the halfway point when it just wasn't working.
But then he got picked up by the Uprising on the 4th of September. So that was like about the start of the playoffs. Yeah. I think we mentioned it pretty briefly, but there was so much other stuff going on at that point.
Yeah, actual games and teams that mattered at that point.
Right.
The big one was essentially the next big one was the Gladiators pretty much gut everything.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of all of like one group of people, and then they just hired back Deepay.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a great move as the general manager and coach. It's hard, but it's not like football.
Right.
You're in direct contact. You play the game. You know what you want from your team, and you know where to look. And
it's also only a roster of a maximum of 12 people. Yeah. Whereas football is 53, and then in the off season it's 90. So
Yeah, and then you have drafts and whatnot.
There's a whole lot more to do with that. But like with this, because of the size of the teams, it's a little more intimate. You know the guys personally because you're working directly with them. So it actually makes sense to have your general manager also be your head coach. Yeah, I think it actually is a pretty. I think it's a pretty good move, and I'm surprised that more teams don't do that.
Yeah, me too.
I understand that there's other things like as far as like setting up your culture and like setting like trying to set standards and team houses, but that's other stuff that you can probably have other assistants help you with. Yeah, and all of that, like putting.
It's more of like if they called it like, it's a general manager. But I look at it more as a player personnel kind of guy, like you'd have in baseball or football or basketball. The guy that's in charge of picking the talent.
Right.
And then you have somebody else doing the
behind
other
the scenes stuff and
shit,
setting up everything. And
yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not like there's a draft. Like, that. If it would definitely be different if there was a draft in this league.
Oh, yeah. Which I think maybe down the road they could kind of work something like that.
I think so, too.
I think we're going to see, and we'll talk about this later because we had some news in the last couple of days, of course. The super team building, the min-maxing of teams.
Yes.
Is going to, which became a problem in the NFL, where you had teams that were, this was 25 years ago before the salary cap, where you had teams like Dallas and San Francisco,
right,
who had gobs of money and bought everybody. And then you had teams that were in smaller markets at that point, like the Packers, who just started to rise. They signed one guy.
Yeah.
And that was Reggie White.
Yeah.
But some of these teams were purposefully, in baseball we had this too, purposefully running below what you would call a workable roster. There was no minimum for your salary. I think they do have this in this league though. I think there's
I think there is there's minimum pay for each. So there's minimum amounts you have to have on your roster. I think you have to have a minimum of 7 on your roster, 7 or 8. And then they all have salaries. To be making at least $50,000. I think is the minimum salary for anybody on a roster.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that includes two-way players.
Yeah,
I believe
that includes your two ways. But let's talk the next team that kind of started. The next team on the list that we have that we're going by. The Outlaws, of course, got rid of their coaching staff.
Pretty much got it, everybody, which
we kind of
surprised nobody.
Yeah, kind of figured it was going to happen because they were kind of like in this weird state, like a pause. Like someone had hit the pause button because they were getting sold, couldn't spend any money, didn't have any money to spend, and so they're starting off. Got rid of Tyrong and Hunwoo, and then they made the big announcement about less than a week ago, where they hired Harsha from Vancouver, which I think is a phenomenal move.
Yes, probably hands down the best move that the Outlaws have made since their inception.
Yeah, since Arhan.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, sorry, Outlaws fans. I had to get one jab in because he actually made a good move.
Oh God.
No, but I think that's a fantastic move. He was an assistant and probably learned so much in Vancouver.
Oh, for sure.
And he was he's a pretty bright dude anyway. Yeah. I think this is a great move for them. Flame, I think, is doing a decent job. I think he was handcuffed a little bit. I mean, I gave him a lot of shit.
We've given him a lot of crap, but I mean, I think now that we kind of know what was going on, where they really couldn't make any moves because of the sale, and like it's just like you're locked into whatever you have right now. That's what you're locked into. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
So I think that really handcuffed him a lot. So there was probably moves he wanted to make that he wasn't able to.
But we also,
and now that they're sold and put into their place, he can actually make the moves that he wants to. And the first move is to hire that guy. Like that's a pretty great move.
Yeah.
There are other moves or not so much. We'll get more to that in
either this episode or the next episode. There's a lot to talk about. And we'll break down a little bit of teams and things like that too.
Yeah.
But next team, Washington, they got rid of the Wizard and all of his people.
Yeah.
I think they decided to move in a different direction.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty evident they needed to do something. Yeah, they had that good stage 4 where, you saw some of the talent, rise up and things like that. Mm-hmm. But there was just a lot of just poo for the whole season.
Right.
I mean, to steal something from Bren.
Yeah. So
it was just garbage.
By gutting their coaching roster, they ended up signing John Galt from the Gladiators to be their new head coach.
Yeah. Decent move. He did a good job with the Gladiators, and I think they're moving more into a heavier mixed roster, maybe more Western, more European.
That's what it appears to be.
And I think that's why Wizards on the outs anyway. He did not... to me, they didn't perform to his high expectations or the expectations of him,
right?
I guess, because he was with New York and all this stuff. You had this, he had New York. Sometimes talent matters.
Yeah.
And your main tank, no.
Yeah.
And your off tank, no.
Yeah.
So, we had that. And they're going through other stuff, too. And I think they're on the right path, but there's a lot to see what goes on.
Yeah, there's so many more moves that they're going to need to make. Because, I mean, they've also gutted a lot of their roster, too. But so the next big head coaching change was Moon is now going to be the head coach of the Dragons. So that's a good coach from Team CC. Team CC was a really a very good contenders team.
Yeah, they kind of moved him up.
Yeah,
so to speak, which is good. I mean, I think he'll fit in better without the Western players.
Yeah.
And I think there was a certain point, like, you lose your mind when you start losing, so you do weird shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave him a lot of flack for saying that Custer was too smart.
Yeah.
And everybody did. But, it's the whole, you're trying to figure out, this is going really fucking bad. Nobody's listening to me. Fuck this, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And he seems like that kind of guy that's pretty hard-headed into doing stuff, and he wants to run the meta, and they just couldn't.
Right.
And I think it fucked with him, and rightfully so, he got released from that job. I don't think he was the right fit, but I think he's a good fit here.
Yeah, I do think the Dragons are going to be a good fit for him. And the fact that they hired from basically internally,
yeah,
I think is also a good move on their part.
I think so too. They're keeping a culture going. I want to see more teams do things like this with their academy teams. I mean, we always talk about how to become more of a minor league-ish system instead of a buy and sell, make money.
Right.
All right, so I have these guys on my thing. All right, you guys need an off tank. X amount of dollars, take them.
Right.
Kind of like what Toronto did when they raided all the stuff to do their makeshift whatever the fuck they were doing in the middle of the year.
Yeah. I mean, and I like that.
I like
building to be more of a farm system, which is what it really should be for the league, and then also hopefully can help stabilize the tier 2, so you kind of know the guys that are going to be coming up and all of that.
Yeah.
There are some major changes to tier 2, which we'll probably go over in later videos this week.
Yeah, after we get some more. Get down and dirty with some of the player moves. An we'll talk more about tier 2, which I did watch the Gauntlet final. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was quite an impressive performance by Element Mystic.
Yeah.
I was watching it at 6:00 in the morning on a bus going to the fucking Vatican because, well, that's what happens when something's in Korea and you're in fucking Europe, I guess.
Right.
and my wife is like, talking to me, she's like, "Are you watching Overwatch?" It's the Gauntlet Champions. I don't give a shit what it is. I'm like, no. I'm like, we're on a bus.
We're done with this for now.
Yeah, we're on a bus. Just relax. I got Wi-Fi on here. It's all good.
We're good.
We're gonna look at Jesus things in a minute. Sort of. That was an amazing building.
It was really cool.
The Vatican was unbelievable. Guys, if you ever go to Italy, religious or not, you just got to go in there for the art standpoint, and it's.
The art and the history.
And the history, yeah, and the whole 9 yards, which I was all into. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, we'll talk more about Tier 2. We'll talk a couple of other teams that, obviously, the Spitfire fired everybody, coaching-wise.
I don't believe they have signed their new... Or, no, they did. So, yeah, they
Agape, and then they have Pavane, who also got fired by...
the Excelsior.
Fired, left, whatever. I'm just using fired, throwing it out there.
Yeah.
We're speeding this up a little bit because, obviously my team got rid of a bunch of people again.
Yeah.
Bare Hands is gone, which I don't think anyone's really missing him.
No.
Sorry, man. Had to get that in.
Then they promoted whatever.
Yeah, to general manager. He was the assistant general manager. Whatever. Fusion.
Until they come out and start winning some games, it's just completely irrelevant.
We talked about the Fusion and the Uprising before in the middle of the playoffs when they started getting rid of people.
Yeah.
So I mean that was no surprise.
The Eternal hired 9K as their head coach.
Yeah.
That's another big one. And then
Fifi
got hired by the Defiant.
Which. The Defiant, we'll get into the Defiant.
Yeah, and made a lot of changes.
And if you guys watch Sideshow at all, and he made the valid point. Now we're fans. I'm more of a fan, I think, than you.
I watch Sideshow.
Not Sideshow. I mean the Defiant.
Oh yeah.
He basically said they were so bad they were non-existent, and I kind of agree with him. After I was like fucking screaming about how good they were in stage 1.
Yeah. Because after stage 1, they just fell apart and became irrelevant.
Yeah, and I think with the homestands, they're going for more relevancy.
Yeah.
Now, part of Canada is French.
Yeah.
There's reasons here. You know, you want to get some of the culture in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're making your state, like, teams are starting to make their stamp as to what they are.
Yeah.
I kind of like
kind of building more of their identities
around
their locales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some teams, New York is a different animal.
Yeah. New York can really kind of be whatever, like,
because it's New York. And LA can be whatever because it's LA.
Yeah.
It's all cultures and all things all rolled up into one, both of those cities. You know, I like what the Defiant are doing and proposing to do. Mm-hmm. We'll see if it comes through. Who knows? It could be happening right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty much the gist. Oh, and we did say the Spitfire. Never mind.
Yeah.
Talked about Harsha. And you know the Promise guy, or not Promise. Oh, what the hell was his name? The Valiant hired a new coach too. Packing 10 got promoted up to Packing 10 for the Valiant got promoted up. We kind of skipped over that at the end of the season a little bit. Yeah. He was kind of like de facto, and they did look better, but they need work too.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, now let's
jump into the real meat of everything.
Okay.
And that is all of the guys that have been dropped or have moved to new teams.
Yeah.
All kinds of possibilities going on right now.
So we can start. Let's start with the Fusion. They have 2 players. They have Funny Astro they picked up, and they have Fusions, or not Fusion. I mean the Uprising. Well, we can call them the Fusions now because that's pretty much their team. So yeah, they literally have 2 players. I think they have 2 players.
Yeah. This past week they dropped 6 players from their roster
and dumped Blase.
Yeah.
So Blase's now in the Outlaws. We'll get into the Outlaws in a minute.
Yeah.
Some of the other teams that gutted, teams that you were expecting to gut things. Justice got rid of. Hanyo. I don't even remember him.
Right.
Janice and Sansan expected.
Yeah.
Then
you got
and they got rid of Sleepy and Guido. Expected.
Yeah.
And Ark is also a free agent.
Yes.
So they have about 3 players.
Yeah, I think that they have Corey. I know they re-signed Corey.
You have Corey Stratus.
They specifically re-signed Corey and Stratus, and then
I believe they picked up Roar.
Yes, and they signed Roar.
Okay. This is a whole twisted web of what the fuck is going on.
Right.
So just bear with us with some of this, because you're going, they got 2 players, 3 players. Did they sign anyone?
Right.
Of note.
It's almost easier to go by player at this point. But yeah, so Ark is a free agent, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
So the Justice dropped Ark. The Fusion, they haven't technically let go of Elk, but he is looking for other opportunities.
Which I find odd.
Yeah. Like, they can pick up his option if they choose, and probably put him on like a 2-way. Or sign him to their full roster. We're not sure yet.
Yeah.
But like basically he's getting the option to look where he wants. Like, he's almost like a restricted free agent.
Yeah. Because I'm sure there's matching things and all that kind of.
Yeah.
Got let go, didn't get let go. Good player, good main support. Someone's going
to pick him up. And then, so the Spitfire have released Birdring, Guard, and Nuss, that's big.
Yeah.
All of those guys, to start. We expected Birdring. Guard, I'm not really surprised by.
Nuss was
Nuss was a little surprising, but at the same time, with how they were kind of going more towards, he's got Quartermain.
Quartermain, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were playing Quartermain a little bit more, and Nuss is these guys aren't terrible players.
No.
They'll get picked up somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Guard is probably more on the outlier, maybe a backup or contenders. Mm-hmm. Other guys are going to end up, like Birdring, if he wants to play, probably going to end up on some team somewhere.
Yeah.
But there's only so many full Korean rosters that are, teams that are going full Korean.
Yeah. And it's going to be harder and harder to make a full Korean roster unless you're Seoul, because that's where all the really good Korean players want to go because they want to play at home. And then probably any of the Chinese teams are going to be the best bet for that. But then you kind of run into the Chinese teams probably also want to go full Chinese rosters
or mixed Chinese,
Korean. So there's less and less opportunities unless you want to go and live in the U.S., stay in the U.S., and probably be on a mixed roster.
Yeah, and unless you get picked up by New York or Florida.
Right.
But who knows with Florida? You don't know. They're on reset number 12.
Yeah.
I equated them to the kid hitting the reset button on the fucking Nintendo every time he starts losing.
Yeah.
Or, it
really does feel that way.
Yeah.
Oh, you knocked me off the side of the stage on Smash Brothers. Reset.
Yeah.
Oh, you fuck.
I didn't lose.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Next Note is officially a free agent. I think they just kind of let his contract run out. There is definitely a strong possibility he stays with the Fuel.
Yeah.
But he could really end up anywhere because he's a good off tank. And he's
also Canadian.
Yeah. Something else to keep in mind.
Look for Toronto, maybe.
Yep.
He could just get re-signed, restructured with Dallas.
Yeah. And that's what I'm leaning more towards, based on some of the other rumors that have come out. Then the Charge have let go of Bishu and Fraggy. No surprise there.
Yeah.
But a weird one that I wasn't expecting is Hotba. They're letting him be a free agent. They didn't release him, so I think
he could be exploring
more
options.
they're just kind of letting him explore his options, and I would imagine that they're probably going to try to match whatever because you don't want to let a guy like that go. He's basically
unless you got some flex tank in the wings that is
that versatile and there's only a couple of guys like that. I would say he's like Choi Hyobin light.
Yeah, exactly.
What we said, that guy's good.
That one was puzzling. The moves that Houston made were not, except for re-signing Boink.
Yeah, so Bonnie got released, but they re-signed Boink for some reason. I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Hydration got released from the Gladiators.
That doesn't mean he's going to start.
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's going to be a starter.
Yeah.
But puzzling to re-sign.
Yeah.
Of the two, though, he was the better of the two.
Right. So then they let go of Hydration, and he signed... So the Gladiators let go of Hydration, and he signed with the Outlaws.
Yep.
Which is another kind of puzzling move. Okay.
So they picked
especially with trading for Blase.
Yeah. They got something... They got a lot of stuff in the works, I think.
Yeah.
It's puzzling on the surface.
Right.
But if they move someone like Linkser or Jake... it's not as puzzling.
Right.
Because I think Blase and Hydration would be a good duo.
Yeah.
Maybe you keep Jake or Linkser. Keep Linkser for
I would probably think Linkser. That'd be a pretty
But Blase's a good widow, and he plays the same things that
Linkser does, yeah.
And he's not as streaky.
Right.
That's the thing with Linkser. He's got that Taimu. He's either someone that he's highlight reeling.
Soon, that type of guy, yeah.
He's highlight reeling or he's not.
Yeah. He's either on or he is off.
He's hard carrying or he's a non-factor.
Right. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm really intrigued by what the Outlaws are doing. Out of them in Toronto are the most kind of not intriguing from the. I see what you're doing here, kind of.
Right.
I don't know if I like it or I think you're crazy.
Yeah. Then Surefour is a free agent. For the
Gladiators kind of gutted as well, a little bit.
Yeah,
actually a lot.
Yeah, they've really changed a lot of their roster, letting Roar go, letting Void go,
Hydration and Surefour.
We'll talk more about Surefour in a bit because he's part of a pretty strong rumor that's going on right now, but that's still pretty up in the air on how that's going. But they also let go of Void. Void is a free agent. I don't think they've released him, but his contract is expired. And that's kind of surprising because he really was... He was quietly one of their best pickups this offseason, or this past year. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, because they have him. I mean, right now, the two or three guys that they brought in, they brought in Void last year, and he didn't really do much because Bishu was doing the bulk of it, especially once they got to Brigida, and Bishu was doing a decent job on that.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Roar and Decay, who both kind of underperformed from the hype.
Yeah.
And they let Roar go.
But they let Roar play in this past season, and when he was playing, he was one of their best players. And he was a main reason of why they were in most of the games that they were. Void, yeah.
Yeah, you said Roar.
Oh, yeah. No, Void. I mean Void. Yeah. So it's interesting that they let Void go.
Yeah.
Or that they haven't re-signed him yet, at least. Because he's still a free agent.
There's so many guys that got released and whatnot. There's so many players available in these pools.
Right.
I think there's a little bit of a waiting game going on.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see some of these guys go back to their team and sign. It's you can go look. When you come back,
we're also going to look too. So.
But you come back, rest assured your contract's not going to be as high as it was.
Right.
I mean, that's sports GMing 101.
Absolutely. That's
Belichick style.
It'll be interesting to see what the Gladiators do with Void.
Yeah.
Carpe is officially a free agent for the Fusion. Same with Snillo. EQO. Sato was a free agent, but then they've re-signed him for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But not necessarily saying he's going to start.
Right.
This is, it falls into some of these scenarios.
Right. So we'll see what the
with the travel, you might need capable backups.
Right.
With, going cross-continental.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the NFL or NBA where, you're playing in Seattle and then you're playing in Denver.
Yeah.
You're playing in Toronto and then
the next week you're playing in freaking Shanghai.
Yeah.
Or
you're
Guangzau, or
exactly,
you're playing literally halfway across the world.
Or you have to do the Paris-London thing.
Right.
However, those things are going to work. I mean, there's more time in between, but still, you want to have backups and stuff like that.
For sure. There's definitely going to be points where you're going to see a completely, one half of a roster that hasn't played all season, and then all of a sudden, that whole half of the roster is going to be playing because they've been practicing for this one homestand.
Exactly.
This series of homestands that are going to be in this area.
Right.
I will be shocked if that's something we don't see pretty regularly.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting moves for the Fusion. Then moving on to the Dynasty, they
pretty much said goodbye to
Rujehong, Toby, Zunba, all are free agents currently.
And Jessica.
And then Jexy,
whatever his name is.
He is he's one of those looking for team guys.
Yeah.
Where he's more like a restricted free agent, depending on what else they end up going with.
Right, and it's basically okay. We tried the God roster from 2016, not working out.
So now we're going to try the God roster from 2019 for 2020.
Obviously, in the last day, I mean, if you guys haven't, been awake for 24 hours, they picked up Gesture and Profit.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about that for a second because, I mean, that's a huge move. We might as well get it in this one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, since we're on the Dynasty, so that changes the ball game a little bit.
It really does.
And
so
the two guys that us and probably nobody thought
we're going to leave
the Spitfire. That's all right, we're going to core around Gesture and Profit.
That's who you figure, you build around those two guys. That's like having the,
That's like the Yankees in the 90s getting rid of Mariano Rivera and Derek Jeter.
Yeah. Be like, we don't need those guys.
Yeah. We'll trade him to...
What?
We'll trade him to Kansas City for a third baseman in the minors.
Yeah.
That's basically what it felt like to me.
It kind of, yeah, it really does. Like, they didn't even get anything for them. Like,
yeah,
they got, what was it, cash considerations or whatever?
Yeah. That's got to be a lot of cash, though, for those two.
Damn well better be.
Yeah.
That's and like, letting go of a guy like Prophet, like, he is he is the best. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
He is the best DPS player in the league.
Yeah.
Bar none.
Bar none. And I'm not talking about streaky guys that are hot this year.
Consistently great on every character he plays.
Yeah, and the only reason why they were in some of the games this year, because they were hot garbage in the metas, was because Prophet was doing something.
Yeah.
Even
when he was playing Brigitte or Zarya, he was still carrying that team. And
then when later in the season when he got to play some DPS, I mean, still carrying.
Yeah, absolutely. So
whether and basically they're building around Badosin, it seems like.
Yeah, that's because he's really the only Badosin and
Fury.
And Fury.
I mean, that's not a bad duo
for sure. I mean, Fury is probably, I would put him top 3 off tanks in the entire league.
So yeah, and I mean, there are guys floating around that you could see going to them. And
Absolutely.
You're going, okay, sort of a lateral move like Carpe.
Right.
They're not going to sign someone like EQL.
No. No, I do feel like London ends up staying full Korean. Yeah. Mostly because of their GM, what is her name?
Suzy Kim?
Suzy Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a good line to Korean players and stuff like that.
Suzy Kim Christo.
Yeah. But I mean, there's that, and you can't. And I mean, if you're from the UK, don't take offense to this. You can't build a whole local roster around UK players.
No.
Sure, you could,
but you're not going to be that good.
You're not going to be like Cloud9 has standards, man.
Well, because one of the best is the one guy who didn't get released from Boston. From Boston, like one of the best players from the UK. You can't get him. Don't even bother.
Yeah. I mean, you probably could pry fusions away from them because, well, it's Boston.
Right. Because they let go a note and no one expected them to. He was their golden boy.
Yeah.
And
I didn't expect them to release Kellex.
No, definitely not.
That was an unexpected one from that.
Yeah, we'll get more.
We'll get more into that kind of speculation and opinions. But
looking at Seoul right now, they have. I mean, basically, they gutted the rest of their roster, though.
Yeah.
But when you can build around Gesture and Prophet...
And you still have guys like Meko who are available.
Still have Meko available.
Off tank.
They still have Fleta on their roster.
Yep. You have guys like Nuss floating around, Arc floating around. You have main supports that you can get. You can get one of these, you can even get someone like an Izzyaki probably.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, there's so many guys.
There's a lot of guys, and there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to want to play for Seoul.
Yeah, and because it's home.
Because it's home, exactly.
And, the next closest thing are, like we said, the teams in China. It's, not close, but it's not... It's not New York City or Florida, which Blaze and Bob brought up that point a while ago. And I find it hard for Florida... being as far away as they are to be able to maintain this Korean roster thing.
Yeah.
Because guys want to be pros. They're going to want to play. But there's a certain point where you're like, I'm literally as far away from home as I can get.
Right. And then also it's just like, okay, you better be paying those guys a lot to stay there.
And it doesn't seem like they want to pay a lot.
Right. So it really doesn't.
They could be, who knows what they're doing. And that's a whole show.
Yeah.
We're going to bring on some guys to talk about teams too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one thing that we want to get into more.
And that's something I think as everything kind of takes more shape as to how their finalized rosters are going to be.
Yeah.
I think because right now everything's just...
It's basically someone flipped the chessboard over and you're picking up the pieces and trying to figure out how you're setting up.
It really does feel that way.
Yeah.
It's just like... It just reminds me of what was it, Black Sheep, when they're playing checkers? It's just like, so what happens when you never move your back row?
Yeah.
And then you flip it. That is what's happening right now.
Yeah, and also we were discussing, if you guys are Simpsons fans, there was a Super Bowl episode, Because when we're recording, shit always happens.
Yeah.
And this happen? Everyone, all the podcasters make weird comments too. Like when we're recording now, so something's gonna fucking drop.
Yep.
But there was an episode where they kept doing these Super Bowl episodes, and they had to keep redoing them, and they lose their value.
Yeah.
So there was a point where Mo covered his mouth, and was like, "Boy, I'm covering
the Falcons,"
and they would just voice over the team.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like,
I'm really excited for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Right now it's I can't believe the Spitfire just made that move.
Right.
Profit on Soul is going to work out really well for them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we're just going to do that, and then we're just going to keep playing that and fill in. It kind of, but yeah, it's crazy. But Soul is obviously going.
They're going all in. And they're taking, and they should, because
they have the advantage.
They have the advantage, and then also they've been consistently underperforming.
Yeah.
Up until this point. So, and I think we kind of moved past this is a former team that did really well, and we're just going to bring in this whole roster. I think we're kind of past that at this point.
Yeah, I think and management wise, they kind of wanted to get rid of that Lunatic High.
Yeah.
Vibe where everyone's like, oh, Lunatic High, they were good once, now they're terrible.
Right.
It's kind of they want to get rid of the ghosts.
Yes.
I mean, they're getting rid of ghosts by hiring gods.
Yeah.
But guys who have their own history and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I think they want to start off. They started to kind of do that a little bit last year.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of want to get rid of that Lunatic High side note.
Yeah.
And just, we're the Soul Dynasty, this is what we're going to do.
We're trying to be the New York Yankees of...
Yeah. They're going Yankees, Boston, Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. They're going that route.
Exactly.
Okay, there's no law that says I can't, so I'm going to.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move into some of the other ones. The Mayhem dropped half their roster, no surprise there. Hagapin, Rain, Zephyr, Creature, Swan, all gone.
The Irie Swan era is over.
It is.
Hagapin was puzzling, but there's so many guys available that are better than him, it's understandable.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they're going, and no one does, so...
Yeah.
I mean, they could be going for all fucking Southern Hemisphere roster this time, because
right.
Why not?
Yeah. So then...
only Brazilian and Australian players.
So then we have...
DPS from Antarctica.
The Defiant, the guys that they dropped quite a few players. Yeah. Gods, Sherrick, Aid, I'm 37. And then they put Rocky on a 2-way contract.
They did sign Nevix, which I thought was a fantastic move.
Yes.
The only guy the Shock dropped, which when you have Choi Hyobin, you don't need anyone else.
Right.
I mean,
that one is still technically a rumor.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was part of that. That was not part of the sideshow rumor. I think that's...
No, that actually happened last night.
Oh, it did get official?
Yesterday in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
So the list we're looking at, they haven't totally updated
Totally updated that part.
Yeah. But
so that's no longer a rumor. That is official.
See, now I thought he would have went, and a couple other people said he would have been a great move for the Outlaws, but they have something up their sleeve. Don't know.
They better. And then we talked about the Uprising and all the players they dropped. And
the Justice dropped everybody, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean...
The Valiant dropped quite a few of their players, but the Valiant gets interesting when you look at... Because, they technically haven't dropped a lot of their players.
They dropped some of those guys
they dropped a few guys.
Picked up here and there.
They dropped Fact Fiction and McGravy, but then there is... So let's... All right. I think now is the time to jump into the sideshow.
Yeah.
So there was a 2-minute section where Sideshow had his stream on, and it was him and Custa and who else? I think it was...
was it Super or one of those guys?
I think it might have been Space.
Oh, it was Space. It was 2 guys from the Valiant.
Yeah.
Because I think he's still hanging around with those guys.
Yeah. So he was hanging out with them, and he left his stream on, and they were talking about moves and player salaries and stuff. So one of the big ones was that the Fuel signed Gamsu for $250,000.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
That's absurd. Yeah.
If a guy like Gamsu is getting that kind of money,
what's Surefour going to get?
Yeah, what's Surefour going to get? What are the Shock going to end up paying some of their guys?
How much did Soul pay Profit and Gesture then?
Right.
I mean, I don't know if they were under contract still.
I don't think they were.
Because they had the and one, so that would be...
It might have
but that would be at the end of this year, right? That would have ended at the end of the season, so they had to re-sign those guys.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that's frustrating about the league, and we'll get more into that after this, is just there's no transparency as far as contracts, how much guys are getting paid, how long they're getting signed for. And there's like very little transparency on that kind of stuff.
And it's really frustrating talking for guys points, like us.
Too. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how often, you got some of you guys that watch regular sports, mid-season last year, they're talking, where's Kevin Durant going?
Right.
Where's LeBron going? Things like that,
Yeah. Throughout the whole season, and then you got the entire NFL offseason is that kind of stuff. You get even baseball has like their winter meetings.
Bryce Harper was a talking point for months.
Bryce Harper, Manny Machado last year. When is Mike Trout going to sign his monster contract? All of that stuff all happened. And
but it's stuff you're talking about. You're like,
exactly.
And you can come up with speculation. And what it does is it keeps things relevant. It's not us and every other podcast are going, well, I don't know how the fuck long he's signed for.
Right. He signed for this year at least, and that's it. Yeah. That's all we know for sure.
And a lot of the releases and stuff, minus some of the new teams, and even some of the guys on the new teams, they bought contracts out, were that initial contract where they just said, we're letting them all expire.
Right.
A lot of these guys are going to get signed back to their teams, too.
Yeah. So, as far as some of the other rumors that were discussed in that, because there's a lot of people that suspect that this was, like, a debate or just like some kind of plant just to mess with people because of like how it was structured. And
it was kind of like structured.
It was just like, oh my God, like how did you just talk about that much stuff in the span of 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, so some of the other ones are that Oj is leaving the Fuel and going to the Gladiators.
Yeah.
The same with Space, leaving the Valiant, going to the Gladiators. And then also leaving the Valiant to go to the Defiant is Agilities, which that one I definitely could see.
Yeah, Canadian.
But the big one is Kareev going to Defiant.
Yeah.
And that would be huge for them.
Just those two guys. And then with the other rumor that they threw in there, which has been baited and been fed along the last few days by the Defiant, is Surefour going to the Defiant. So they basically are trying to go from irrelevant to good.
Yeah. Which, hey, if these are excellent moves for the Defiant, if this is all true.
I think Oj is a good move as well for the Gladiators.
Absolutely.
The Space one's puzzling.
The Space one's puzzling, considering they still have Void.
Yeah.
Or depending on the Void situation.
And for the Valiant, because Space, I think, is fantastic. Yeah. He's top 5 off-tank.
But then does that, that would just show, with all of these moves, any of them being true for the Valiant, what are they doing? Because that just means that they basically just gutted their whole roster.
Yeah. There are, because I texted Kel last night, I'm like, there are like 4 or 5 teams that have like 3 players only.
Yeah.
That relevant players. I'm not talking about two-way dude.
Yeah.
Or, like some guy that saw like 2 seconds of playtime last year that they signed and is still under contract or whatever. But like, you got, the Fusions have like 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
If all this stuff goes through, the Valiant have like 2 or 3 players.
Right.
The Fusion have the same.
Yeah. Mayhem have probably 5.
Yeah. They have the most out of that whole...
But they still quite, completely overturned, because it was mostly...
It was mostly bench guys and then...
Bench guys, but there was a few starters too.
Yeah. Hagapan.
Yeah.
But they kept kind of a core, though. They kept Fate.
Right.
They kept Fate, Chris... who I'm kind of on the fence with. Yeah. Fate, Chris, and then Sia Player and BQB.
Right.
Not terrible.
Right. Something you can kind of build around.
You can build around that if they build around that.
Right.
They might keep Fate and Sia Player, but who knows?
Yeah, it's really up in the air.
At this point, Sia Player could be fucking fed up.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like the kid that gets fed up, but at a certain point, you're like, dude, Like, he's like their Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, how many times are we hitting the reset button?
Yeah, no kidding.
I've been here since last year. We've had 50 coaches, 40 GMs, and I played with 300 players.
How am I supposed to get any kind of, like, consistency?
I'm like in solo queue in a pro league, for Christ's sake.
Right. God.
And it's true. It's like
really
he's playing solo queue.
Yeah.
Man, the rumors from that, though, did they say anything about the thing that happened last night with Prophet and Gesture? I don't think they did.
I don't think they did.
I didn't see it.
That was a different rumor.
Yeah, that was one that
came from...
that came from Jacob Wolf.
Yeah.
Reliable.
Yeah.
Custa and Sideshow kind of fuck around a lot. You know, you can involve Space or some of those other guys in that shit just to see what happens. If I was a Valiant, I wouldn't be too happy.
Yeah.
With those two.
For sure.
But...
well, then they also discussed possible moves that they would have made. The Valiant were trying to trade Custa back to the Fuel.
Yeah.
For some reason, like, to get...
for closer and note, I think it was.
Yeah. And the Valiant, or the Fuel were like, no.
No.
We love Custa, but he ain't worth that.
Yeah.
Not note.
Not note and closer.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, who knows what they're doing. They're oddly quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, they made some moves.
Yeah. It's been weird.
There's some teams that are really, really kind of just like, they're kind of they're doing the step back and watching everybody blow up.
Right.
And then I think there's a couple teams that are going to go, okay, we can pick who we want to pick now.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's kind of what it seems
I think the Spitfire had started their ball rolling.
Yeah.
Like kind of okay, we're getting rid of Prophet and Gesture now. People are going to fucking freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
But we have this plan in place where we're getting X, 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 and X. Or, you know, maybe they go sign Element Mystic. You know, the guys that are available.
Right.
We don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. It's really kind of up in the air.
You have this whole contender scene with a lot of good players that are eligible that weren't eligible last year.
Mm-hmm. And then, so there's one last player move that happened today, and the Dragons released Young Jin, and that was official. They put it on their Twitter. So, I mean, he's a good, solid DPS player.
I could see them just letting him go because he filled in roles.
Yeah, but I think I think where he goes is going to be more important.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be some situations where he could fit in beautifully and really help a team.
Yeah.
Because of the roles that he can fill, and he could. There's a few guys that I think he could complement really well. Depending on what other team he ends up with and what his teammates are. So that'll definitely be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all of the, like, most of the
EQO was a big one that was kind of on the edge of rumory.
Yeah. But it was official yesterday. The Fusion released him.
So look to see where he goes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking some mixed roster. Hey, there's a guy, you know, the Valiant are rooming to get rid of all these guys.
Right. That's a guy you can build around.
Yeah, you can build around EQO. Yeah. Gladiators as well. You know, you get rid of Surefour, you get rid of Surefour Hydration, you pick up
EQO, pair him with Decay.
Yeah. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Their pools are a little similar. Kind of. Well,
Decay's more of a hit scan.
Yeah.
EQO is more of a...
whatever he touches kind of guy.
Yeah, whatever he touches, honestly.
Except for Brigida.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that team needed to get blown up. And they're obviously, I mean, we're just throwing teams out here and just kind of talking, but that's okay because we haven't talked about anything for like 2 weeks. So, but you look at the Fusion. I mean, they only kept they re-signed Sano, and they kept Boombox.
Yeah, that's really it. That's the only guys that are like for sure because you don't know what's going on with Carpe.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's not going to be a team that's going to jump at that guy and pay him an absurd amount of money.
Yeah, and they kept Poco as well.
Yes, and Poco.
I mean, that's not a bad core. To me, it's kind of iffy.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
okay, that's a core.
Yeah, you got to get some solid people around it, though.
Exactly.
I mean, they have the alarm rumors are probably going to start up very soon.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were going to go alarm Elk. So
and
maybe
that's the thing
Boombox
with Fusion is they can pick up a lot of their guys off of their contenders team.
Yeah.
Because of how good they were. I would be shocked if they don't move a couple of those guys up.
Yeah, because Boombox, I think his time is limited too. Because Alarm is waiting in the wings.
Exactly.
You can't let that guy go.
Right.
And
and then they also signed Funny Astro.
Yeah.
So you pair a guy like Funny Astro along with Alarm instead of Boombox, that's going to go a lot better.
Yeah, you keep Boombox around for some guys that are going to be bench players / coaches, kind of, because some of these guys have been around the block for a long time, and and
I could definitely see them doing that with Boombox, kind of making him a player coach.
Yeah, and I can see some of these guys too, like maybe even Birdring, kind of getting pushed out.
Right.
Like you were good once, but this kid here, that's 17. That's costing me $55,000 a year.
It's going to give me a lot more value.
Yeah. You're temperamental and bullshitty?
Yeah.
No. I'll take the kid.
Exactly.
It's some of that stuff is going to happen. And you're going to see some of these guys trying to make scrambles on contenders teams or, bowing out or, some of them becoming casters or whatever.
Yeah.
Working in other capacities.
Going back to their home country and streaming.
Or playing the new Riot game.
Yeah.
Coming up in 2020.
Yeah, we'll
talk about that.
We're going to talk about that on the next episode.
Yeah. Riot is making some news.
Yeah.
Which, it's 10 years in the making.
Right. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Just kind of a basic rundown of a lot of the roster moves that have happened so far. We're definitely going to be diving a lot more into this stuff as the weeks go on, but I mean, we had a lot to catch up on because there's quite a bit that happened over the past couple of weeks. Since the grand finals. Yeah,
it was odd being on vacation, trying to. I'm on vacation and I'm not paying attention, but time zone differences. You get back to the we were saying Airbnb. You get back to the Airbnb. I don't sleep much. You guys know that. It's midnight there. I'm on Twitter. I'm like, oh, all this shit's going down.
Right.
And I'm like, then I wake up in the morning. Oh, a whole bunch more shit went down.
More things happen.
Yeah. Why is my phone blowing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
so there was a lot to unpack there. We still, we gave some stuff. Then we'll give a lot more opinions and, where we think some guys are going to go and all that in the next episodes coming up. We'll talk a little bit about some of the news that Riot had going on, some of the other external stuff that's happened with Blizzard.
Yeah.
Our opinions on that, which they're probably what you expect them to be, being who we are and how, we...
You guys know us
at
this point.
Guys know us pretty well. And maybe do a little lead-ins to BlizzCon, what we think is going to happen as far as the game goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't played the game in 2.5 weeks. Played a little bit. I missed half of Junkenstein, but I missed the skin that I don't need because it's a beacon to get shot in the face.
Yeah.
And you guys know my opinions on fucked up colored skins. It's just a disaster. I do like the blade skin for Baptiste.
Yeah. Definitely getting that one.
Anyone that thinks that's a vampire, in quotes, skin is an idiot. Yeah. He just needs a leather jacket and it would have been perfect.
Yeah. I'm still upset that we did not get the tall man from Phantasm for...
Blizzard, next year. We want tall man.
Please. You have a year to do this skin.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God,
you have enough horror nerds on your staffs.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, tall man. He throws balls on top of it.
Right.
It's the easiest thing.
He's already basically that guy. He's an old guy who uses balls as a weapon.
Yeah.
Come on. All you got to do, give him long gray hair and put him in a suit.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's done.
And he can even float. Let him do the float thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he barely even walks in the movies.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like he floats, so it even works even better.
He kind of shuffle floats anyway, so, I mean... But, okay. That is going to do it, guys. So, thanks a lot for joining us. It's great to be back, talking to Overwatch League with you guys. Be sure to hit a like, hit a subscribe. Also, hit the bell if you're on YouTube. We're going to be talking a lot more. Things are starting to ramp up a little bit. We got a lot of stuff going on. The league is starting to, we've thrown all the pieces off the chess table, slowly putting them into place.
Yep.
We're going to keep you guys updated with that. We are going to, we're going to be doing some of the other stuff that we normally do. There's going to be a lot of more YouTube content and straight audio only stuff is going to be going up and YouTube stuff. We're going to do a little bit less streaming. We're going to, if we stream, we're going to be playing games and, talking some stuff. Maybe we'll do one on Sunday after BlizzCon. Haven't really figured out scheduling and, where we're at with that.
But then also expect over the coming weeks, us to kind of stabilize our schedule, and we're going to kind of start setting up our times so we're on a consistent schedule throughout the season, because there's going to be games every week, and because there's going to be because of how it's going to be formatted, we're basically going to be similar to what we were doing last season. We're going to move to doing one live stream a week and then one recorded show.
Yeah, recorded content.
And that's going to be kind of our weekly thing. But expect like a solid dates on when those days will be and all of that coming up as we kind of figure out how best it will work for us and
scheduling because the schedule's going to be a little weird because you're going to have Sunday games. I mean, we had the opportunity to do the Sunday night backcap series because the games were pretty much over around 9 p.m.
Yeah,
you're going to have games in Korea and China that aren't going to be over until 1 o'clock in the morning Monday.
Right.
Potentially. Depending on how they schedule it
and all that.
And they're aware of people that do content and stuff too. They don't want to fuck with the boss.
We got to look at the scheduling and kind of figure out what's going to work out best for us, and then that way we're also not kind of walking over some of the other guys that are doing their podcasts, because a lot of them do their stuff on Mondays and Tuesdays
and Wednesdays, and we want to kind of
we don't want to get
everybody
lost
to get
in the mix, so we want everybody to be able to kind of listen to everybody.
Yeah, because I like watching their stuff too. So I mean, I don't want to be doing it and missing something that they're talking about.
Exactly,
because it's all great conversation, and we encourage you guys to definitely check out all the other podcasts.
Yeah, I
mean, they all have great content. They all have their own style. They all do something different. And we're going to have some of those guys on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, we had fun doing it over the season where we had, a lot of those guys on. We're going to get some other guys on. So, and we're going to hit some of the more team focused.
Yeah, focus on individual teams. But we want to wait with that until
probably around, I would call that like around the holidays we'll start in on that stuff.
Probably late November. Once we start to see some of the teams kind of solidify their rosters and everything, because like right now, if we were to try to do it, it'd be like, so Florida, what are you guys doing? I don't know. Yeah. They let everybody go and they haven't signed anybody yet.
Yeah.
Or same with Houston. Like
I don't know what they're doing.
They have 5 DPS on their roster and no
it's low budget San Francisco right now.
Right. It really is.
So the Raiders saga continues, I guess.
Yeah. Oh God.
I meant in the Overwatch League.
Yeah. Jesus.
Anyway, but yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I'm sure there's going to be stuff that's going to change with league formats and rules that we don't know about yet, and things. I mean, BlizzCon could set everything on its ear.
Right.
They could throw a new game mode in.
They could throw in a whole new game.
I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think they're going to either. But there could be a whole new mode that's only available if you buy the new thing.
Right.
Which, if they do that, 100% guaranteed will be played in the league.
Yeah.
And that could really kind of throw things off.
I mean, it could be a whole separate entity, like where you have something like a Teamfight Tactics that's...
Right. There's any number of things
it's not going to be like...
seeing.
By the way, Heroes of the Storm, look into Auto Chess. Throwing that out there.
God. I would love that. Yeah. Like, that's the way to bring Heroes of the Storm back to relevancy.
Yeah. Auto Chess, Heroes of the Storm, and just make heroes great again.
Yes,
I'm getting a fucking hat. Someone make me a hat that says that. Yes. I will find a way to go to BlizzCon and I will wear a hat and a shirt.
Make HOTS great again.
Yeah. Please, for the love of God, I played it because there's only so much you can do with a potato, fucking laptop.
Yeah.
And I was playing MOBAs because you can.
Yeah.
I played a little league. Apparently, I got an S tier fucking Morgana score. I don't know how the fuck I did that. You played those games with me. She's a utility, so I'm good with the utility.
Yeah.
And also, fucking troll picks. I was also called a troll by a cop in Italy. That's a story for another day. It's a good story, guys. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that'll probably be on one of the streams.
Yeah,
when we're playing.
Yeah, and I also got Let's Break It Down. I had my Lucio shirt on.
Nice.
Some Italian kid, about 20, just like, let's break it down. and my wife just looked at him like laughing. She's like, "You're a moron." the amount my wife hates Overwatch is palpable.
Yeah.
She's a really great person. I'm painting this bad picture. She's an awesome person, but she just fucking hates Overwatch.
Yeah, believe me, I feel I have the same experience. So
yes, you guys with significant others and wives that are into Overwatch, count yourself lucky.
Yeah.
All right, guys. On that note, we will see you on the next one. Everybody listening on audio only podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Please give us a rating. Tell us what you think. Tell us what we can do. All that kind of stuff. And to everybody that's been supporting us and listening and watching, thank you very much. We will see you on the next one.
Catch you guys on the next one. Later.